Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. Today I'm going to do kind of a deep dive on the safety features that people have requested. So I'll do that, but wanted to cover a couple of questions that have come up recently and give a little clarification. So I just had a couple people that have asked, how long, if I was to order a Tundra TRD Pro, how long would it take? So to clarify that, the TRD Pro is a very limited availability vehicle. And so they only build so many, or I should say each dealership is only going to get so many per year. So if you're looking to order one, number one, they have to have an allocation for it. And you need to find out, is there anybody else that's already in line waiting for one of those as well? And that could determine how long it would be before you could actually ever have the possibility of getting one. So once again, they have to have an availability, or an allocation rather. And then, then once they receive the allocation, if that's your order, it normally takes, from the time they receive the allocation, it normally takes about 45 to 60 days from the time they receive the allocation till the time the vehicle is at the dealership. And a lot of that depends on where you're located as to where it comes in at the port. So that was that question. Another question, person is asking, if I order a 1794, or I should say I have ordered a 1794, and it's been about 6 months, and they say it's waiting fulfillment. So in reality, what they're saying is, okay, the vehicle hasn't been built yet. We haven't received an allocation, so we don't know actually when that vehicle is going to be built. But we're hoping it's going to be built by a certain time. So they're just kind of putting you on ice, because literally if they haven't received an allocation, there's no possible way for them to know when that vehicle will be built. So it's just kind of a wait and see. When we talk about mix, and so when I say mix, I'm talking about, okay, how many 1794 editions actually get built in comparison to all the other Tundras that come in? They are building a very, very, very small percentage, and it may even be less for the 1794 edition than it is for the TRD Pro. And I already mentioned that that's a limited availability vehicle. The 1794 edition, I don't know if it's the specific interior it takes, but let's see, and probably in the last 6 months, I think I've only seen 2 actual allocations that our dealership has received for a 1794. So that being said, if you're waiting for a 1794 edition, it could be a long wait for you. Like I said, supply chain issues are still there. Still an issue with the microchips. There's an issue with, I've heard some people say tires at some point. Advanced features, so things like panorama view monitor, panoramic sunroof, things of that nature, rear air ride suspension. These are all things that are shared throughout a bunch of different Tundras, but if they don't have the features to build them, then that could prevent you from getting that vehicle. So anyway, that kind of covers those 2 questions. We do have new allocations coming out here in a few days. I'll give you guys another update as soon as I see those, to kind of let you know what the mix is coming out. The last time I reported, and I'm going to jump back probably about 2 months ago, it looked like we were getting a lot more hybrid models than what we were gas models. And the gas models that we were getting, most of them were the SR5 model. So this last allocation, what I saw, it looked like we actually were getting more of the upper end models, so that was a good sign. And it was kind of, the mix was kind of, we were getting nearly as many gas as we were hybrid. So there again, that was another great sign. I mentioned to you that with Sequoia coming out, the Sequoia has taken some of those features that we would see on a lot of the Tundras, but they're sliding them over to the Sequoia, since almost everything in the vehicle is identical. So anyway, I'm going to get on to the safety features that people have requested. So you can see the screen there. And when it comes to safety features, number one of the things that you get, I'm going to back up for a moment. So this is your lane departure. So lane departure, you turn that feature on, you can see it comes up and it says steering assist active and lane centering is active. Now, lane departure will let you know when the vehicle has crossed over the line. And so, if anybody doesn't know, there is a camera on the other side of that black box in there. It's easier to see from the outside of the vehicle, but it reads the lines of both sides of the road. So if you cross over the line, it's going to give you an audible alert, or on the Tundra, you have the ability to set that alert to vibrate. So the steering wheel would actually vibrate, and that's the way I prefer mine. Not only when the lane departure is on, you also have a second feature called lane centering, and that's part of what they call the lane trace assist. So lane centering tries to help keep you centered in your lane when you're driving. So if you get over next to the line, it's going to kind of nudge you back in the center of the lane again. If I hit the lane departure button, it toggles on to lane steering assist, and that's the one that if you cross over the line, has the ability to help pull you back in the lane. If I hit that button again, then it goes, oops, lane centering, and like I said, tries to help keep you centered in the lane. So let's say, for instance, you guys don't want that feature, and I know that when I first got the truck, I didn't think you could turn that feature off, because once you turn it on, anytime you toggle, it either goes to lane steering assist or lane center, but it doesn't turn it off. So here's the way you actually turn it off. Push and hold it. So I'm going to do that so you can see the screen. So if I push and hold it, and you can see that it went away. So that's actually how you turn that feature off. The next feature I want to talk about is adaptive cruise control. So in order to tune your cruise on here, push the button. It tells you that it's active. Now, the way you would set the cruise is you would pull it down and set the speed. And then, of course, if you wanted to accelerate, you could do it 1 mile per gallon or 1 mile per hour at a time by going up, or 1 mile per hour at a time, reduce the speed by going down. So when the adaptive cruise control is on, and that's this button right here, so if I push that, you're going to see that line comes up. So do you see the 3 blue lines at the top of the screen? So if I push that button again, it drops to 2. If I push it one more time, it drops to 1. So what that does is that sets the tracking distance between you and the person in front of you. So with my vehicles, 3 lines seems like about 10 car lengths, 2 is about 7, and 1 is about 5. And so that gives you the ability to adjust that tracking distance, excuse me. Now, why would you want to do that? Let's say you're in stop and go traffic, and everybody kind of comes to a screeching halt, and then everybody takes off. And let's say your tracking distance is set to 10 car lengths. Well, if you give somebody 10 car lengths in that type of situation, you're going to have people pulling in front of you all the time. So that gives you the ability to shorten up that distance if that feature is still turned on. Now, why would you use adaptive cruise control? Well, the benefit is that when you're out on the highway and you set the cruise, you have the ability to set the distance between you and the person in front of you. So if they slow down slower than your cruising speed, you keep that same safe distance, but then as they speed back up, you go right back up to your regular cruising speed as well. So that way you're not having to constantly turn that feature or the cruise on and off. So that's for that. All right, I'm going to go into another screen here. Okay, and so here's your safety screen itself. Before I go to that, there is a button right here. That's for your auto dimming headlamps. And that way, when you're on a backcountry road, and it's not really designed to be used for the highway, but on a backcountry road, when that feature is turned on and your camera sees headlights off in the distance, it will dim your high beams down to the low beams until that car passes you, and then flip them back on bright again. So that is a cool feature. All right, so we already talked about lane trace assist. PCS stands for pre-collision system. So I can go in there and turn that feature on or off. And you see that it's off now. If I turn it back on, so what does PCS do? Well, pre-collision system is designed that if you're driving through town, and let's say somebody stops out in front of you and you don't notice them in time, it has the ability to take over and stop the vehicle all by itself so that you don't rear end that person. So that's your pre-collision system. BSM stands for blind spot monitoring. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. You can see what it looks like in the mirror when somebody's in your blind spot. This is for your parking sensors right here. Those are parking sonar sensors in the front and the back. That's for your rear cross traffic alert, so that way when you're parked at a grocery store, you go to back up, it picks up that cross traffic. RSA stands for road sign assistance, and so the camera can read 3 different signs. It reads speed limit signs, caution signs, and stop signs. So that's that, and you'll see that come up on your dash occasionally, and that's where that's coming from. So that's just kind of a quick rundown on the safety features. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please take the time to send them my way. Like and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything I can help with. Also, keep sending me your VIN numbers. I can give you guys an update. If it has a letter in the last 6 digits of the VIN, as a temporary VIN number. So keep in mind that if your truck has already been built, it's possible that the VIN number you have may be the old VIN number and hasn't updated to the new one, or at least you don't have the new VIN number yet. But send them my way. I'd be more than happy to check the status on them. And thanks again. Have a great day.